All right, great to catch up with the legendary Mike Strong with us here at our Carol and Janelle, the pizza capital of the world. Honored this past weekend, the University of Scranton, some great memories. It's great to catch up with you. It's been a long time. What a great career you had at the University of Scranton. Let's first talk about this weekend, what that was like, the memories and the joy.
I'd like to talk about this weekend. My heart is busting up because in addition, the university, of course, hosted the 85 national championship team. But in addition to that, because there has not been an alumni event since I left coaching 10, 11 years ago, I invited my players, but all the other players back. Now, not everybody made it. Everybody made it from the championship team, but not everybody made it back. But some of the things the women said to me was just, oh.
And that introduction of the current University of Scranton team and kind of, giving you a little hug there and acknowledging you, that had to be a special moment for you too.
It was. I got to know them a little bit this year. Coach Ben O'Brien invited me to practice. So I saw, 6 to 10 practices in October before I went to Florida. So I know the kids a little bit more so this year than any other year since I've been coaching.
Let's talk about the arrival at the University of Scranton for you. Take us through, how'd you arrive at the University of Scranton for yourself with coaching the men and then the women?
Well, okay, there we have to give credit or blame to Mike Mendola, because I played for Mike, for Coach, at Keystone in the 60s when it was a junior college. So I played there 2 years and went and got my master's and everything. He brought me back. I coached at Keystone for 3 years, men's basketball and soccer. And then while I was there, the coaching change happened at the university. I applied and they hired me. And spent 7 years with Coach Pesquire. It was a great 7 years. Of course, we won the national championship in '76. And then, you're coming your 30 or so, you want to do your own, and the women's job became available, and I asked to do it. Didn't even have to send a letter. Boom.
How you think about this, and I don't know what the statistics are, but for somebody to be able to coach in a men's national championship team and then a women's national championship team, I'm sure that's pretty darn rare, and you happen to be one of those guys.
Well, I'll tell you what, John, name the other coach that has a national championship on each side. I don't think there is any. I think I'm very unique that way, but I don't know. There could be somebody out there.
How about the embracing, the women's program and building your own culture and, what you're able to do? Just legendary stuff. It was incredible. And, I'm sure you're quite humble to think, boy, we had a heck of a run there.
Oh, we had a super run. Being in the right place at the right time and being prepared. When the women's job opened up, I was there and I just slid right over, changed offices. And then, when started recruiting, we basically had local kids on the team the first year or so, and then we went from there.
The things that the University of Scranton was able to offer to bring in those student athletes and, top level students.
Yes.
And then very, very good athletes, and then, kind of just keep working at it and tweaking it every year. And I don't know if there's a whole lot of tweaking when you're having as much success as you had, but talk about that formula of what went well and what worked.
Oh, there's always tweaking, John, in coaching. But I remember Father McElhenney took me to lunch at Cooper's back in the late 80s and the 90s, and when it was the athletes at the university weren't as honored as they are now. And the university had made that decision that they were going to go up academically. They weren't going to be a regional school anymore. They wanted to get outside the region. So Father McElhenney said to all his coaches, but particularly me, he says, don't recruit kids who can play for the University of Scranton. Recruit people who can come to the University of Scranton, and then if they play, then that's it to it. And that's been my formula ever since. And it's been a pretty good formula.
Influences for you along the way that you took into coaching, whether adults in your life, coaches, teachers, educators? Who are those people?
Well, there are a bunch, and again, Coach Bessler and I had some good years together, but Mike Mold is by far and away the man of my life. I was a pretty typical teenage boy at the time. My studies were not that important to me. I went to Keystone. I learned that you have to study to stay in college. And then he offered me the basketball job. But after that, then he also kind of pushed me into, or directed me, mentored me into going into clinics. So I remember spending 1 week with John Wooden down in the Poconos. And at that time, there was a lot of big name coaches coming up into the Poconos and also Jersey area for coaching. So I got my X and O's that way. But Mike Moll is the reason I am in this position today.
Coaches along the way for you, one or two assistants, or did you have several assistants along the way?
I had
Coach?
several assistants. One was Deanna, of course. Peg Garrick was the assistant for the national championship team. It's unfortunate she couldn't make it up this week. And the last two assistants, Sheila Cook, and she was very good also. But Mark Goodrick helped. There were student assistants along the way. The assistants played a pretty vital role, and they do in anybody's success, you know.
So when you're coaching, talk about, what was it like to have women be in good physical condition? Obviously, you had bright students, but, things in 2024, 2025 here, students are doing certain things for basketball, but during your tenure, was there just a lot of basketball? Was there some other conditioning and things that you did, or was it just, hey, we're playing basketball?
I was on the beginning of the weight training and running. That was not well received by all the young ladies that played for me. It is now. It's accepted. It's there. But so we, if you want to call them fought those battles. We had to fight those battles. But I've always said that predominantly speaking, the kids at the University of Scranton that played for me were, they were disciplined. They wanted to be there. They wanted to coach. They wanted to play, and they wanted to be coached. They wanted to get better, and that was from day one. So that was there. But I know there was some stuff about the conditioning back then. They didn't want to condition, and we didn't play year round back then either. It's different.
It is different, and obviously, so much success for you. Family has to be important to you. Talk about your immediate family, the extended family, and them kind of having a role in allowing you to coach and enjoying what your career was, but then you have to enjoy some family time along the way too.
I've often said to my wife, Linda, afforded me the opportunity to coach, because university still doesn't pay out real well. But she afforded me the opportunity to coach. We were high school sweethearts. We've been married for 48 years, dated 9 years prior to getting married. So Linda's been with me from the get-go. And she's a rock. She keeps me grounded a lot of times, or mostly, or she tries to. Two sons, Chris is over at Paul Pack, I almost said Paul Pack Fuel. They sold that, but Paul Pack heating, air conditioning, and plumbing. And then he had three sons, so three grandsons. Ryan is the oldest, and he's running the company now out of Hawley. The middle grandson graduated from St. Joe's last year. Very good student, went to prep, played for prep, and is doing quite well. And the youngest one is down in coastal Carolina. And when he was growing up, we called him the mayor. He was chit-chat. He was he was one of those kids who were just great, absolutely great personality. And I'm bragging here, I guess, but pretty good looking guy and good at the tennis. So he's in that major to become a golf pro, a teaching pro, not a playing pro, a teaching pro. So that's it. And then we have one more. Ryan. His daughter Rosie is 5 years old. So Rosie broke the mold. There was a lot of boys or males in a strong family, and Rosie she gets all the attention now.
I love to hear it. How about as far as basketball right now? Do you find yourself watching games or watching things? I mean, you had mentioned you went back and got to spend some time with Coach O'Brien. Do you still try to be a part of the basketball community when you can?
Yes. Coach O'Brien has been great. He really is welcoming to get back and even to give a little bit of advice. Now, I don't like to cross that wire. Everybody does something different. Yeah. So some of the stuff I did, but predominantly he's doing the same thing, and he's very much so coaching the same way. Not the same demeanor. I was nuts, but he was. He's his demeanor is very good, which I think is important in this day and age. I don't think a lot of the kids would be able to play for me the way I was. Now, I changed though too as I get older.
Yeah, we all kind of we roll into the patience, we roll into the impatient, and then there's definitely a mix of as we get older here. I'm noticing some stuff even with myself. We had two ladies over there who played for you, part of that team. What was it like to have them on the squad and the type of people that they've grown up to be here? Coaching now, and
well, we're so very proud of all of them. Kathy Wallen is up in Abington, and she's a physical therapist at Allied, and geez, forgive me, Kathy, but I don't know her title, but she's pretty well up the totem pole. And there's so many kids that have been that have a lot of success. Deanna was just an exceptional person. She was a Division I player, played for St. Joe's for 2 years before she played at Wilkes and then at Scranton. But she's far and away the best player in the Scranton uniform. And a unique personality, as we all know. She was the catalyst. We wanted to catalyze. She was the catalyst. She helped recruit Shelley Parks. Because Shelley, put the same year that Deanna transferred into Scranton, Shelley Parks was in a nursing major situation down at E-Town and was transferring. And I don't know how we made the connection, but Deanna did the coaching. Did the recruiting, for Shelley when she came in. And Deanna was Player of the Year, National Player, Division III Player of the Year in '85. And Shelley was National Player in '87. So the one team I had two national players on the team. It was just it just doesn't happen, There hasn't been a Player of the Year, a Scranton Player of the Year since. And there's been a lot of good kids and a lot of All-Americans, but not Players of the Year.
Sure have. The memories at the Long Center when you walked in to. Whether it's you're looking at your old office or the halls or just seeing that gymnasium again, kind of goosebump stuff, I'm sure, for you. And I don't know how often, like you said, hey, you got back to a practice, but being there for a game atmosphere is probably a little bit different.
Oh, absolutely. Goosebumps, you're right. I had goosebumps all day on Saturday, and these young ladies were coming up, and some of them I haven't seen. Well, no, we had a reunion, but again, I invited everybody to come back. So there's a lot of those young ladies that I haven't seen in years, and they come up. And as the day went on, a number of them expressed some very personal thoughts to me that just warmed my heart. It's going to. I'll get through this winter, and I'll get through this year, and I'll get through maybe the next 10 years with what some of them said to me. So it's very gratifying to have coached a bunch of athletes like that.
Coach, it's great to catch up with you and talk to you here as the years have moved on. But a pleasure, and all the best in a little bit of Florida weather coming up for you, all right?
Oh, yes. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks very much, John. We certainly appreciate it.